So another topic,
Hmm.
should you personalize?
I would say it depends.
Mhm.
I would not look to start personalizing until you have a very strong approach in experimentation, because it's very easy to do the sort of frilly things around the sides
Yeah.
that don't make a huge change. And my kind of
Mhm.
push back on that is think of personalization as experimentation and ensure that it does give you a return back. It could be that you want to change your office location to the nearest for the people, and that's a JDI. It makes sense. It doesn't really alter too many things. However, you start going further down that path, and you add more effort and you add more complexity and more rule sets. And the question goes: are you doing this just for nice reasons, or are you doing it to make a real difference? And I think sometimes people will see personalization as a way of making changes to the site, but not really having to report on impact.
Yeah.
So I kind of go,
Yeah.
but think of it as an experiment. And if it's a successful experiment, then obviously, yeah, look to implement it. But should that go above or prioritized instead of another type of experimentation that maybe is taking dev resource away or something like that? And again, back to the localization, you can add a lot of complexity. And then it's like, well, what version of the site am I looking at? And before we try to optimize it, we've already got so many differences. We're having to work around it, which can make things really difficult.
Yeah. And I'll build on that. Like, personalization to me is a tool in the toolkit of experimentation, which I think is a tool in the toolkit uh, of just overall research or user experience or both. Um, Personalization is one of those things that I think a lot of times people just flip the switch on to say, let's just personalize as much as we can because a more tailored experience, how could that possibly be bad? But sometimes people find it off putting that, like, you're putting their name everywhere on the website and there can be over personalization. So, to your point, you should test it. But I think there's a lot of parallels between personalization and chatbot that people tend to just like, oh, let's get personalization put on the site. And then that's it. Done. We did it. We have it. But it's same thing kind of with experimentation. Like we installed a tool, we ran a couple experiments, we're a mature experimentation program. Like, no. There should be a strategy involved with personalization. There absolutely has to be a strategy involved with experimentation. And now, like with tools that have a bunch of if then statements built into personalized chatbot, there has to be a strategy around that too. So yeah, it's one of those things that people, I think, I don't want to say it depends because I think like it should be done, but it should be done well. Otherwise, like don't buy a chatbot tool if you don't plan on actually customizing it and spending time to try and make the product better. You can take that money and effort and time and put it towards something else that could drive the business more other than flipping a switch and just seeing if it works. Or not, like you said, like not even tracking it to see if it works and just saying you're doing it.
Yeah, I think people see doing some form of personalization as an increased level of maturity in their business, and sometimes it really isn't, and a lot of times it's just ticking the box. And you have to critically evaluate these things in the same way. And yeah, it wouldn't be my go-to. I think we would be doing a lot of experiments first before then reviewing personalization. Because if you haven't really optimized your pages and your flows and you still got work to go down, why add the complexity of having to work around now personalization? Is my thought.
And ideally, a robust experimentation program starts to personalize your experience based on your
Yeah.
behavior. Like that's why I say personalization is the tool in the toolkit of experimentation, because like one of the things that I built in the programs that I've run is like you have a one page solution. So then you diversify and you say, all right, well, paid search is going to have template A and then they're going to have template B. And then you break it down, keep on breaking it down. That's personalization. By its definition, you're personalizing based on the audience. Okay, well, behavior A, it's going to look like this. Behavior B, it's going to look like this. User A, user B, logged in versus not, desktop versus mobile. Like all these things are depending on how you define personalization, it starts to create that one-to-one experience.
Yeah.
And personalization isn't just like reading your data and recognizing that you're near this Best Buy and you're in Austin and your name's Shiva. Like that's not just personalization.
No, no, I see it in the same way that you do. Source, device, medium, whether they came from a specific email, all of these things. But as you were saying about your one pager, if that one pager is there's still areas of improvement, it's going to be very tricky down the line.